Tuesday, May 21st. The meeting of the Historic Preservation Board, Denison, Texas will come to order. Present are members Linda Anderson, Steve Riley, and Rhonda Bourne. Items for individual consideration. A, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on approving the minutes from the May 7th, 2024 meeting. Rhonda, get your mic on. Thank you. Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the minutes of the May 7, 2024 meeting.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by Linda Anderson, a second by Rhonda Bourne. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. B, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a C of A to add a triangle fabric awning over the rear entry door at 407 West Main Street.
Thank you. The request that is before you is for a rear elevation improvement, and the business owner would like to add a black awning over his existing entrance. You see the sign. If you'll go back one, thank you. If you, this is for Wayne's Shoe Shop, and so the sign that's existing will be moved up, and the awning will go over the doorway. You will note that the applicant included an image of a staircase. That is not a permanent set of stairs. He can move it, and so that is not to be included in this application or request. And this is all being done in preparation for the D3 construction. So he's just trying to clean up that entrance a little bit, and we'll work with him on the placement of the dumpsters as well. That was one of his concerns. But the request today is just to add that black fabric awning. And the applicant is not present.
Questions, discussion?
I guess the only thing is if the stairs aren't included, but on the application it says stairs and awning, so we could just make our motion.
That's
around
correct,
that.
based on my staff report. After I had to, I went down and visited with him to understand a little better, and so he showed me what he was just talking about.
Can I make a motion that we approve the applicant's request for approval for the C and A for this triangle fabric awning above the rear entrance to 407 Main Street?
Second.
I have a motion by Steve Riley and a second by Linda Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving to item C, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a C of A to retroactively approve the painting of the commercial front doors at 607 West Main Street.
Thank you. This is for the Pen and Page bookstore, and the Main Street manager had contacted the business owner to let them know that a COA was required for both the signage as well as the painting of the front door. The signage was administratively approved, and so that is not part of this application. However, the painting of the doors is what they are seeking a COA for. The color is complementary to the accent colors. Of course, it's at your discretion to make your recommendation on whether or not you'll approve a COA retroactively, or if you would like some more information regarding the color. And so the applicant is not present.
Okay. I have a question.
Sure.
What is the a penalty for failure to comply with?
So all painting does require a COA, and within the preservation ordinance, if you don't acquire one or obtain approval, there's a penalty of up to $500. Now, I think that's a little excessive, in my opinion, but that's at your discretion as the Historic Preservation Board.
Can they still obtain a permit?
Yes, so we would do it, Kirk and I had discussed that there is a miscellaneous historic permit for $50, so that would be our recommendation, would be
Okay.
to have them do that, and then if you are comfortable with the COA at that point, and if not, then make your recommendation, and we'll go back to the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Are all the colors approved on the color palette?
Are the colors approved on the color palette? I don't know the exact shade of the color.
It is similar enough, this Basking Glow, it's a
Yes,
Sherwin-Williams number that's in our book, so, yeah.
That was why my recommendation was what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments?
Are we deciding that to move forward then with a minimum penalty charge? Is that what you're?
That would be my recommendation,
And
yes.
the supplementary retroactive paperwork.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
think that it is something that it should be done because it's yet another
Mhm.
situation where we're not knowing. And I think $50 is minimal for that, if nothing else, to indicate that's what in fact will happen at a minimum.
Okay.
Yes. So you want a motion that
Are we ready for a
motion?
includes,
Okay.
Yes.
take it away, Ms. Riley.
I make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for 607 West Main, the paint scheme with the, I did get the address, with the paint scheme as presented, along with the appropriate permit record relay act submitted.
And it's called a miscellaneous,
Kirk, can you clarify what it's called exactly?
So it's gonna go under commercial, cell tower, communications, simple, historical. So it covers a bunch of different things. But historical is the point that we'll get them taken care of as long as they show up in the file.
Ms. Avery, do you have what you need to make this?
Yes.
okay, good.
Can you, Tilly, could you add the penalty in there?
No,
You,
with the addition of the appropriate permit.
right, but you, okay, I thought you were talking about
And the
adding a
penalty.
penalty.
And the
Yes.
$50 minimum penalty.
Yes.
Yes,
So that needs to be added to
Oh,
the
oh.
motion.
in the motion.
So the permit is actually $50.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
well
way I
then,
understood
I'm
it.
good with that.
That's the
then.
way I
Y'all?
understood that the permit was the penalty.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
it's not an
That-
extra penalty on
Yes.
top of the permit.
So it's the permit fee of $50,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Okay, good. And then I take back what I said about somebody doing something
I second
before
your
we said it
motion.
was
So if they had to get a permit anyway, it would be $50. So in
That's
essence, there
correct.
is no penalty.
Right.
Okay.
If it were a different situation, and you, let's say you wanted to assess $500, that would be a penalty and that would be a different process. We're trying to make it not as excessive for them, and this is where we can fit it in
Okay.
from a processing standpoint.
And that's in no way punitive because it should have happened already.
Correct.
So do we tack on a penalty or just leave the permit fee as is?
I made the motion to leave just with the
Okay.
permit fee.
Permit fee.
If you
Okay.
want to attach a penalty, we can send some goons down there to beat them up. But I just would.
This is
be
our
happy
normal
since
procedure.
it's a bookstore.
Can you not, don't put that in the,
If Sheila is recorded, I put that in there for a reason.
okay,
I just thought the permit itself would be appropriate.
okay.
And it is appropriate for the colors.
I agree.
Goodness knows, we welcome a bookstore.
Yes.
I don't think,
So I
Okay.
heard a motion, but I didn't hear a second.
We have.
I did.
You did, okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Steve Riley and a second by Rhonda Bourne. All in favor?
aye.
Okay. Motion carries, thank you.
Exception.
Okay. Item D, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a C of A to install transom windows and a tie rod awning at 123 West Main.
Yes, thank you. You'll note in the background information is the address. I overlooked including that in the agenda item, so I apologize for that. This is a case that was brought back to you from our last meeting on May 7th when you approved the removal of the metal awning and any repairs that came about from the removal. You approved making those repairs. The property owner is not comfortable moving forward until the entire project is approved. So that includes repairing the transom cutouts, inserting the glass, and putting the tie rod awning back onto the building as is indicated by the photos. And what they've expressed to Mr. Kai and myself is that it would look similar to the building across the street, which is the next, yes, thank you. Similar to that. So we are seeking approval of a COA to move forward as that picture indicates. I would ask that some type of stipulation be put in there that if it doesn't turn out that way, then we have the ability to go back as staff and say this does not match.
So for communication's sake, should we label this as an exhibit so that we can state something along the lines as presented in Exhibit A?
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Mhm.
That's good, thank you.
As presented, the photos are included in the case file, so I would just state it like that, like the Toledo Finance building within the case file.
And there is the commitment to do it right.
Mhm.
I like that.
Any other discussion?
Come on, look at the language real quick.
Okay.
It is nice she wants to get it all done at once. I mean, I appreciate that. Everyone was fine with referencing it as what, like
Yes.
exhibit?
Yeah.
Sample?
Yes.
The Toledo building, okay,
That's
something
right.
along those lines. Okay. Just want to get our motion correct, so hang on a second, please, sorry. Okay.
You know what you would say?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the best way to tie it in all together with how it's language here and referencing. Okay, so any other discussion for us too? So I will move to approve the action on a request for certificate of appropriateness to install transom windows and a tie rod awning, and in reference as it is presented in the example of the Toledo Finance Building located across the street from the subject property.
Second,
Motion by Rhonda Bourne and a second by Linda Anderson. All in favor?
aye.
Motion carries. Item E, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a request for a C of A to add a fabric awning to the facade of 230 West Main Street.
Thank you. This again is a case that was brought before you during the last meeting on May 7th. You had approved the replacement of the temporary hardy board with permanent hardy board, and then the painting of the cement, the white part that's on the upper right-hand photo of the same color as the hardy board. The applicant has come back to us at this point, and the awning below is what was presented last time. And if you'll go ahead, thank you. There was some discussion held with
That's pretty.
Historic Preservation Board members and some other members of the community and other staff from DDA and the city. And we all came together with the property owner and tried to come to some sort of agreement as to what we thought might look best for the building. And so you'll see that there's, I'm calling it or referring to it as the banding, that little thin block that separates the stone from the hardy board. So you'll see that, and it kind of breaks it up and gives it a sense of the rest of the building and where the banding is near the top of the cornice. They would still like to have an awning. The shape is different, as you'll note. It's a little more narrow, but it still goes around the side of the building. And the property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Schaefer, are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, I think the decision we have to make here is,
Excuse me just a minute. Can I get you to state your name and
oh,
address?
I'm
please, for
sorry,
the
I'm
record?
Philip
That's okay,
Schaffer.
thank you.
I own the building across the street, 230 West Main. I think the only decision we have is what type of awning that we use. And we have to choose between the real great, good-looking umbrella awning or the straight type awning. Now, that's the decision we, my wife and I, like the umbrella that matches the one at 222 West Main, which is above the survey office.
And
It's
would that
also-
be picture number 2?
That's, yes, ma'am.
The
Picture
second
number
one?
2 from the
Okay.
left.
Okay.
And it also would match the existing umbrella awning that's approximately 80 feet south of the corner of the building there. So again, we prefer the umbrella awning, but it's your decision.
The size is a nice difference. It kind of makes it a little, I think, digestible for scale. I like all 4 of those renderings are nice. And it'll be black also, you said?
Do what?
It'll be black, like to match your other one.
Yes.
I think this proposal is way preferable because of the proportion of the size to the building. And while there are, in fact, Mr. Schaefer, umbrella awnings, as is pointed out by Ms. Bourne, they aren't as big. And the expanse of that umbrella awning was part of what was of issue. But the more rectangular one is, I think, much more compatible with the architecture of the building. And it is not as big a sign as those other umbrella ones, which basically cover just a doorway.
That's your opinion.
Yes, it is my opinion.
This type of building typically does not have an awning
At all.
at all. And Mrs. Tate, the addition of an awning will not take it off of the contributing building
No,
status? Okay.
because it's reversible.
Okay.
And you're just completely married to this humpback,
I'm sorry.
and you're just completely married to this humpback awning.
Humpback. Umbrella.
Okay.
I think for discussion's sake, at some point, they are our buildings, you know, and to create some personalization that is not offensive, nor is it's not robbing the contributing, right, that it is a contributing building.
I think the
Correct.
size is what makes it more attractive now.
Much more. It's
Yes.
attractive, the geometry of it is nice. It looks nicer with your building than the first rendering, for sure, so it looks very nice.
Any further discussion or questions for Mr. Schaefer?
I don't have any.
The motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for the fabric awning to the facade of 230 West Main with the color and style as presented.
as presented, meaning the more
Yeah,
straight
and I want to
line.
be certain about what the as presented
Well, because
specific
it's-
is.
Because we approved, last week we had the flat one, theirs is the rounded umbrella shape.
Last
I thought it was the
last week we
ver-
had the
I thought it's
umbrella.
the verse of
Yeah.
that. The awning we presented before was the umbrella, and I'm wondering, in fact, are we talking about a replacement suggestion, which is in fact something narrower and more rectilinear? I thought that's what I read.
It is, and let's call picture number, just for reference sake, picture number 2, the owner's preference is umbrella. That's what they're
Right,
referencing that.
that's two.
So let's, for this conversation, I would reference that is still, I feel, geometrically more appealing than the very first kind of umbrella that we saw the first time,
Could you go back, Sam, to the, yes.
to the original. One
You'll
more.
see there's a difference in shape significantly.
Yes.
Yeah,
but-
that's why I said as presented, because we
Yeah.
have different photos today. than we did
Exactly.
before.
It's way more in proportion to the building.
Yeah.
It seems more linear.
It's just-
It doesn't cover up more than needs to be covered
Right,
up.
but it seems that we just need to specify shape being the
Mhm,
umbrella shape.
exactly.
And I think that I would move in that direction, but I know you're in the middle of a motion, so just, that, when you said that, I assumed you meant that photograph.
Yeah, it's the one that's presented today.
Yes.
So-
There's 4 different ones presented.
Oh, I thought,
Mhm.
well, I'm looking at.
The umbrella,
The one right, the umbrella one, I'm
Right.
sorry.
there's,
You're looking at number 2?
I'm looking at number 2. So we can realign that motion.
That's your motion.
Is that we will approve photo number 2.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Steve Riley and a second by Rhonda Bourne. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to staff updates.
The only staff update is the administrative approval of 607 West Main for that signage for Pen and Page. That's all.
That's it? Okay. Then we shall adjourn this meeting.